Shalom. This is to all Israelite groups and all Israelite communities and all breakoffs from One West and breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs. No matter what rainbow uniform you wear, red, white, purple and white, all white, it don't matter. You should all treat the ISUPK like your weird, misunderstood Sabbaths. You shouldn't do anything until you counsel with the ISUPK. We'll tell you when and what to eat. We'll tell you who to marry. We'll tell you who to have sex with and how. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your wives. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your friends, everybody. We'll tell you when and how to pray. We'll tell you how to direct your life in a way that's pleasing to the Most High God of Israel and our Black King Yahushua, a.k.a. Jesus Christ. We will be to you instead of a God. Just like the Most High told Moses in Exodus 4:16 that Aaron would be to him instead of a mouth and he would be to Aaron instead of a God, that's what we'll do for you. It is what you all need because none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I pray you understand. Shalom.
For the rubber, busy man shit, nigga. They turn their head over, nigga. Pray where Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like stamps and I can't let no hoe to lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Nigga think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Circle up and stay alert, another cop just stretch the nigga. He ain't demon, this an exorcism, watch I bless the nigga. You took that oath in blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision, let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spin, I ain't listening, is in fact the fear. If revenge was a woman, now I scope that bitch like Jake. So time war, we gon' run the summer, it's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't do damage, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it Young Pay. How you real triggering on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? When he said something, I ain't hear him. This shit like it ain't about who got the gun, it's about who gon' up that pipe first. I turn a bad situation to a game changer. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. Free shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand and feed you, you'll never get that hand back. He bitchin' about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Now my chin like you with the angel for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. I'm a certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, out with that hollow side, yeah, this the rim accord. Feel like Gullah Jake when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my bread, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get that boy lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his gang, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
All right, Shalom Israel. Shalom. Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shemar Bashem, Yahweh Shai to all the sisters. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Start out on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. The Friday night Lashawan Qadash class. Like it, where we break down the scriptures from a linguistics perspective. You know what I mean? Something that your Christian pastors have proven time and time again that they're ill-equipped to do. You know what I mean? Because they weren't put in position. The Christian church wasn't created to teach you the truth about your culture and identity. I mean, it wasn't put in place to teach you the truth about the Bible, what's actually in there. It was put in place by your oppressor to teach you the slave doctrine that your oppressor wanted us to learn. But when you open these pages, when you open up this Bible, and you actually read it, you actually, you actually read it, you actually follow the story, and you dive into this Hebrew or the Lashawan Qadash, the holy tongue, then you'll find time and time again that the thing that you learned in that Christian church is very different from what's actually true in the Bible. You know what I mean? But with that, if you got any questions or comments, you got any questions, you can go put them in the chat. If you watching live, you can go ahead, or if you in class, you go ahead and raise your hand. And this is where you asking your questions, on or off topic, you asking your questions is going to show you, because I can only tell you, but who am I? I encourage you, don't believe me, but read that, open up that Bible, ask your questions, ask all your questions, and see if what I'm saying isn't true. Try to, like the scriptures say, try every spirit. We claim to be the home of the truth. Ask your questions and find out whether what we saying is true or not. And I guarantee you might learn something. All right. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share it with your loved ones. Make sure you share it whatever platform you on. And morning, noon, and night, you can hit that QR code in that top corner, and there'll be a brother in that chat to answer all your questions and solve all your problems. You don't got to wait until Lashawan Qadash class. If you got a question pertaining to the Lashawan Qadash, or if you got a question pertaining to a scripture, or whatever the case is, I encourage you not to wait until Lashawan Qadash class to ask your Lashawan Qadash questions. You can hit that QR code, and if you got a question pertaining to the Lashawan Qadash, just put it in that chat, and there'll be a brother in there. There'll be a brother in there that'll be able to answer your question. You know what I mean? All right, with that, we're gonna go ahead and let's see. We'll do a quick little recap what we went over last week. So lucky as I share my screen. So last week let me see. So last week, right? Or for the past couple weeks, we've been kind of going over some basics, we kind of did some review on the Lord's Prayer. We broke down the Lord's Prayer line by line, word by word. We went into some resources. Just to remind brothers, you're going to need these resources. Just to remind brothers, you're going to need these resources, all right? So once we get started, we're going to talk about them resources. We're going to dip back into them resources just to remind you of, what they are, how to use them, how you can find them. And I encourage brothers and sisters to get these resources while they're, while they're only a couple dollars, because as you see, Cap Kataza, every time he suggests a book, every time he suggests a book or a document or a resource that you can go look at and read and purchase for your own personal library, that resource or that book or whatever the case is, it goes from being like maybe $20, $30, $40, $50 to now this book is almost $1,000. You know what I mean? So, it's several $1,000s. They're trying to make this information unaffordable. But Most High in Christ, the ISUPK been here since 1969, teaching the truth according to the Bible to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So every resource that you can find, every resource that Captain Katazai has posted that, prices just magically skyrocketed. I don't know if it's a conspiracy. I don't know if there's something that they hide, and I don't know. But all I know is that the ISUPK is revealing that this information is in these books. And then soon after, the book in question goes from $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 to $4,000, or it's being taken off of platforms. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'll let y'all be the judge of that. All right. But since we've been doing this since 1969. We've been doing this since 1969. So all of those resources that have become scarce and have become extraordinarily expensive and have been attempted to be hidden from Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we have these resources in here. Somewhere. We have them in this school. But we're going to talk a little bit of those resources so that we know, as you can see, we in the school, so we got a lot of those resources here, so we can actually put our hands on these resources. And if you got any questions on anything at all, you can always ask them and, get a live response, a live real-time answer on how to use any of these resources, what they look like, or any specific breakdown that you need on the language, or if you want to dive into any particular scripture, because reading scriptures and breaking down scriptures is an excellent way to be able to understand the Lashawan Qadash as well. Because that's also a big source of or a big reason why it's a big source of the confusion in the Christian church. Like, of course, when there was, I believe, I can't remember the time period, but when there were supervised plantation churches, of course, those were churches that were supervised by, where it was a black pastor, much like how you see in black churches today. There's a black pastor, black choir, black what's it called, a black congregation. But then there's a oppressor. There's a white supervisor that watches over, make sure that pastor is teaching you exactly what he's trying to indoctrinate you to believe. Then fast forward, much like slavery, all they did was remove the physical shackles, but the mental slavery is still there. So that's how you see these Christian churches on every corner in the hood, but there's no grocery stores, there's no black businesses, there's no, there's no resources for us. Because they were commissioned by your oppressor to teach you lies. And there was an oppressor sitting in that Christian church once upon a time to make sure they taught you those lies. And now, they removed the physical oppressor, but every Christian church that you walk into, you look on those walls and you see the depiction of Jesus Christ, who is a black man from the tribe of Judah, as depicted in Revelations, the first chapter. You'll look on those walls and see their depiction of Jesus Christ is a white man. Scripture describes Christ as a black man with woolly hair and dark skin, and who was an austere man. But they paint Christ to be some stringy hair, blue-eyed, blonde-haired devil, who loves everybody, who just so soft and wouldn't hurt a fly, and this, that, and the third. That's where that comes from. Comes from your oppressor. It comes from your oppressor, your oppressor's impression on black culture, which is in this Bible. All right. So that's where those misunderstandings comes from. Where now your Christian pastor open the Bible and read that for God so loved the world that whosoever believe, not realizing in the book of 1 John chapter 2, it says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. So there's obviously a context to the world. And you get a lot of context by going into the Hebrew. Or when, like in the Old Testament, in Leviticus, where it says love thy neighbor, or rebuke thy neighbor, or when it talks about neighbor, You know what I mean? When they say neighbor, they think about that devil that lives next to them, because for so long, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have longed to be able to move into black neighbor or our oppressors' neighborhoods. We want to move out of the hood and go up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Up into the suburbs. We want to move out of the hood, and we want to integrate with our oppressor. We want to be invited to their functions. We want to be invited to their cookout. That we want to be integrated into their society. We want to go to their schools. You know what I mean? So because our desire is to be next to our oppressor, is to be, because our desire is to be what I mean, side by side with our oppressor. Because when we hear that word neighbor, we automatically think of our oppressor. But if you go into the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, as a matter of fact, I got one right here. It's important. One of the resources, right? It's important to understand the Lashawan Qadash of the Hebrew. Be able to understand the of context of words and of scriptures. You know what I mean? And this is something that you won't be able to learn in the Christian church. Give me 1 second. There we go. So let me see if I can find it on the internet so that I could share the tab as well. Let me see. Lock you, bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna find this just so you can. Just so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Let me just share this real quick. Real quick. And the reason why I want to share this is because this is the definition. This just goes to my point what I was talking about earlier. Uh, so this is the neighbor. This is the definition of neighbor that's in the minds of Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, where it says a person who lives near another, one whose abode is not far off. You know what I mean? So when we hear the word neighbor, we think, oh, somebody who lives close to us, and somebody who doesn't live far off from us, right? Lock you. So we automatically think, oh, somebody who lives close to us, somebody who's not far off from us, this, then the third, right? And we automatically think our oppressor. We automatically think, uh, ironically, we automatically think of the people who had us in the captivity, who has been less, who is, there's no other nation of people who has been more unneighborly, you know what I mean, to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Yet and still, when we think of Slovakia, when we think of our neighbor, you know what I mean, we automatically think of our oppressor, right? But this is what the Zondervan Bible Dictionary says. Let me go ahead and read this real quick. All right, now you see I got the book in my hand. I don't know if y'all can probably won't be able to see this from here, but the Zondervan Bible Dictionary is right here. This is a resource that you're gonna need, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, especially if you're serious about understanding your culture. But what the problem is most people just aren't. Most of us aren't because the truth is bitter. You know what I mean? You find out the truth, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's sweet in your mouth. You know what I mean? It's cool to say. It's fun to say. It's fun to say the Jews are black. It's fun to like it. It's fun to, you know what I mean, sound like, you know what I mean, sound wiser than everybody else. But then, like the scriptures say, it's bitter in your belly. You know what I mean? And after you learn the truth and now you have to teach it, you know what I mean, you start to get persecuted. You start to get ostracized by your family, your friends, or Christians, you know what I mean, who aren't interested. You start to find out that Christians aren't interested in the truth. You know what I mean? Because it has Christians aren't interested in what's actually true. Because what's actually true goes completely against everything that's in that Christian doctrine. What's in the Bible goes against everything that's in that Christianity doctrine. You know what I mean? So if you read this Bible and find out, or you say, like the Christian church says, Christ ain't got no color, so lock you. Let me see if I can find this. So lock. Let me see if I can find this class so I can share it. But once you find out that everything you thought was true in that Bible, or once you find out that everything that you thought was true is actually a lie, once you find out everything you thought was true in that Bible is a lie, and that Christ is a black man, and that, you know what I mean, the laws are not done away with, and all these different things that are in the Bible. Once you find out that your Christian pastors lied to you, those Christian pastors have to step down. They have to change up their doctrine. They have to stop teaching what they've been teaching for so long in that Christian church and start to teach what's actually in that Bible. You know what I mean? Which is going to ruffle a couple feathers, which is going to hurt some feelings, which is going to make some people dislike you. And Christians aren't willing to take that risk. All right. I'm going to go ahead and read this for y'all. So, in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, the definition of neighbor, Commandments 6 and 10 deal with duties towards one neighbor. In the Old Testament, neighbor meant one who lived nearby. So, right, that's the definition that we just read in, you know what I mean, on Google. I mean, what I just had shared on the screen. But your Christian pastors will stop here. Christian pastors they'll stop right here, and that's why all of these other versions of the Bible is useless. You know what I mean? They're useless, and you should be careful. You should throw them away. You know what I mean? And only deal with the King James 1611 Bible, because those other versions of the NIV, the NKJV, all of those different versions of the Bible, they do exactly what your Christian pastors do, which is they'll take out certain words that absolutely prove the point that I mean, the Most High doesn't love everybody. In the book is this Bible is about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, there's 14 books of the Bible that were taken out called the Apocrypha, which the word literally means hidden. You know what I mean? But let's see. Let me get back to it. So it says, in the Old Testament, neighbor meant one who lived nearby, a fellow Israelite. That means you're an Israelite and I'm an Israelite. I'm an Israelite, and because you're an Israelite, you are my neighbor. You know what I mean? That's so whenever you see love that neighbor and rebuke that neighbor, and when you see the laws of how we should treat one another, it's talking about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But the problem is your Christian churches indoctrinated us to believe that we should love everybody. And because we love, that's why, you know what I mean, during COVID, when we was protesting, we were saying Black Lives Matter in recognition of the Black lives that have been lost to police brutality. And they countered it with all lives matter, and a lot of us was right on board with that. All lives matter. It was like, yeah, all lives do matter. When you love everybody, then you lose the ability to love the people who actually deserve your love. Your love for the people who deserve your love gets watered down. Salakia. Salakia. But when you love everybody, you lose the ability to love the people who actually deserve your love. And the people who actually deserve your love, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, your love for them becomes diluted because now you gotta share the love that was exclusively for your family. You gotta share it with every other nation. You gotta share it with your oppressor, the so-called white man. You gotta share it with Slovakia, all these other nations that feed off of you, the Asians, the East Indians, the you know what I mean, the Africans, you know what I mean, who we are not. You know what I mean? And what happens is because these other nations oppress you and they're over you and they put their foot on your neck and they step on you and they make money off of you and they get rich off of you because of that allure of uh how it looks or how it feels to be an oppressor and to be out of to, or to rule over a nation rather than be in poverty like blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, rather than to be a slave like blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you end up trying twice as hard, 10 times as hard to love them rather than loving your own people. So then your love for your own people becomes diluted even more, which is why now when it talks about when we fight so hard to get reparations, the FBA, the Foundational Black Americans, they say, oh well, Mexicans aren't included in that in our struggle. The Caribbeans aren't included. The Haitians aren't included in our struggle. You know what I mean? Any Black, Hispanic, or Native American that's not in America or doesn't identify as a African American, they're not included because we're trying to love a nation that doesn't love us. That's why when ICE kicks in the doors of Hispanics and Native Americans, you know what I mean, and puts them in cages and puts them in trafficking rings and imprisons them, mass incarcerates them, we say this ain't our fight. Our hands is off because we're now we're fighting for a love of a nation that don't love us. So we got to fight harder for them, and then we got to take away our love from the people who actually deserve it. I mean, you actually learn these things in the ISUPK. You know what I mean? When you open up these books, you open up these records, you open up these resources to actually understand what words mean. It's very important, and all of those things lead to the confusion and misunderstanding that you see in the Christian church. All right. So, with that, we're gonna go ahead and get into the class. What was we talking about before? Uh, all right, so we're gonna get right into it. All right, let's see. Let me share this real quick. So last week, again, we went over the rest of what's it called, the Lord's Prayer, and we went over it word by word, line by line, and broke down each word. We went into the resources to be able to find out the use of these words and why it's used here, this, that, and the third. All right. Uh, it's like Aita Zagabar. Was you I know you had some connection issues last week, but was you able to get the rest of it? Was you able to catch the rest of that breakdown for the Lord's Prayer? Got you. Okay. All right. No sweat. All right. Well, All right. Well, it's really not much left on it. And I don't think the class is too long. I think it's about an hour and some change. Uh, where or it might be less than that, maybe like 45 minutes where we broke down the rest of that. So, if you want, you could just, well, I encourage you to go back and just catch the rest of that breakdown. But we just, I mean, it was pretty straightforward though. And you said you wanted to. Did you have any questions before we? Okay, no. So, and you could just go ahead and grab one of the mics as well, so that people online can hear you. And everybody online, if you got any questions or comments, you can go ahead and put them in the chat as well. I mean, that's the whole point of this class, so that you can get what you need. I mean, whether you agree or disagree.
I don't got a question. I don't.
You say you don't have a question?
I already know how to say it now.
Okay. Well, just for
A question that I did have before I learned it, the tribe of Judah in Hebrew. Well, yeah, we can go over could we go over all the tribes?
yeah, we could do that. You rather go over that than Hakach? We can go in there. As a matter of fact, we can go ahead and do that. Is there something specific like about the tribes, or you just want to know how to say them? You want to know like the breakdown on each of them? What you want to know?
Pretty much Salaki, how to pronounce them.
Okay. All right. Go ahead to with the if the pronunciation is what you need, it's pretty much pronounced how, like, you talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, right?
Kind.
So it's pretty much pronounced how it's pronounced in English. So so like give me one tribe. Just say it in English.
Manasseh.
So you need help pronouncing this one?
La I did.
Okay, no sweat. Oh, okay. You say you got it already, right? So Manasseh Manashah just sounds exactly how it sounds in English, but you just replace the sounds with Hebrew. Like, instead of because in the Hebrew there's no vowel, so there's no E I O U sound. There's no, so that's what any word, pretty much any word. So Manessa, it has that sound. It had in there. There's no in the Hebrew. It's abagada hawaza kata yaka lama nasai. Right. So you just replace those vowel sounds with the sound, with abagada. Right. So instead of manessa, it's manasha. Right. Give me another one.
Ephraim.
Okay, Ephraim. So again, there's the E sound. There's no E sound in the Hebrew. It's abagada, and then there's no fa sound. Like, I know a lot of brothers and sisters, because I mean, you do you try to learn from your oppressor. You try to learn from Google, and just try to Google information. There's a lot of misinformation on Google. So when you first learn the Hebrew alphabet, a lot of times you get the Yiddish, how your oppressor talks. So a lot of times they'll pronounce that pa sound like fa, like like yeah. So that's where that comes from. So it's not Ephraim, it's Aparium, right? And it's easy to let's go to Genesis. Let's go to Genesis chapter. Let me see. Genesis 29 and and you can start at verse 30. Salakia. 32. All right. So this is, if you want to understand the 12 tribes of Israel, this is a perfect chapter to read. So you read Genesis 29 starting at verse 32, and then you read down the last 4 verses, and then you go to verse 30, and then you continue to read. It's going to break down each one of the 12 tribes of Israel. All right. And what the name means. And and I said that because you mentioned Ephraim. Right? Ephraim and Manasseh. Ephraim and Manasseh are actually later in Genesis. I think it's around 40, 49, or like a little before 49. But because Ephraim comes from Jacob, or not Jacob, Joseph, Salakia. But just understanding what these brothers' name mean will help you pronounce the word. Like Ephraim, you know how to spell it in Hebrew?
Salaki, I never tried to write it out.
Okay, let me see that whiteboard right there, and let me get one of them, that black marker right there. As a matter of fact. Let me see that real quick. And let me get one of them tissues as well on the bookshelf. Yeah. And this will, like, what I'm about to show you is gonna help you from, like, you're not gonna have to remember spelling or pronunciations. It'll just give you what it is. You know what I mean? Like, you'll be able to understand what the spirit behind this brother's name is, or whoever's name. You'll be able to understand the spirit behind it. You'll be able to understand where these, like, how it was built, and all of that. All right. So I it's Aparium, right? Or I'm gonna write it in the ancient, or the okay. Salakia. All right. So this is Ephraim in the Bible, in the Lashawan Qadash. Aparium. Or in the ancient, or in the Assyrian Hebrew, is A, Pa, Ra, Ya, and Ma. All right. Now we're gonna break it down just like how we do in during Sabbath service, or during Lashawan Qadash class. You know what I mean? We're gonna break this down using those 4 steps right there. Every word in the Hebrew breaks down with those 4 steps. Now, if you know anything about prepositions or possessors, right? If you know, okay, what stands out? Using those 4 steps. What can you out of those 4 steps, what can you pull out of this word right here?
Salaki, that it has 4 more characters, so it'll be a root. It has a root word.
Mm-hmm. It has a root word, and it what else does it have?
It also has a preposition and a possessive.
Right, or it's possible. All right, so what? Based on that, now we got to separate the root word from the preposition, possessive, or tenses that's there, right? So, what can you separate off the rip? Just looking at it, what can you separate?
The pa, the ra, and the ya. Pa,
All right, break it down. Explain why you say pa, ra, and ya.
because the would be the no, Salaki, the preposition,
Con.
and at the end I par yum, and the ma would be the ma would be the possessive.
All right, you close. You close. You close. Let's. What about yum? Plural. Yum.
You said a yum.
Con. Yum. All right. All right. So you was on the money with the but the other part you want to pick out as well is the yum at the end. That's gonna be your tense, meaning pluralization. Does that ring a bell? Like akyum,
Kind of.
aquathian, things like that. All right, so that just leaves you with your once you and my advice is to like immediately the reason why I put up there a root word has 2 to 3 characters is so that you can so that you can separate or know whether there's a root word or a preposition or possessive or not. Right? So you know that a root word has 2 to 3 characters. So like you just did, you know that the I has to be a preposition because that's more than 2 to 3 characters. And then you know your guess was the ma at the end, right? But it's easier, especially if you don't have it in front of you. And you could just click the concordance code because that's the easiest way to go about it, just to click the concordance code. But if you don't have that available, then just go off of what you know for sure. Or you just troubleshoot it, right? Is a preposition that means what?
I am.
Right? So which is I or I am. Right? And then yum means what?
Yum. It'll be a tense to make it to make something plural.
Come. So that leaves the para in the middle or par. You look at the Hebrew. I believe the word is para. I can't remember which one. I think both of them are used, but it means fruit or like to bear fruit, be fruitful. So para yum means I am fruitful. Right. So if you know the breakdown and all you need for the breakdown is as a matter of fact, before we go into Genesis 29, let's go to Genesis. Go to Genesis 41. Genesis 41 and 52.
Kind of.
And read that. Let me go to it real quick. Yeah. Genesis 41 and 52. You'll read it when you got it.
The book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 52. And the name of the second called he Ephraim.
Mm-hmm. So this is the name of Joseph's sons, right? One of Joseph's sons while he was in Egypt, right? He called him Ephraim. And remember, when you're dealing with brothers or when you're dealing with names in the Bible, there's always a spiritual meaning behind the name. There's always something behind it. We don't just like the idea just naming your child just because it sounds cute or it sounds cool, you know what I mean, or it's fancy or it's unique. You know what I mean? That idea of naming your child some garbage that has no meaning, that comes from, you know what I mean, modern society, being in America and being surrounded by all these different cultures. So we end up biting from all these different cultures. But our names have meaning. Go ahead.
Con. For God have caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction.
For God has done what?
Caused me to be fruitful
Uh-huh.
in the land of my affliction.
So he named his son Ephraim because the Most High made Jacob or Joseph Salakia fruitful in the land of his affliction. He was sold into captivity. You familiar with that?
Ephraim?
Yeah.
Laha.
No, not Ephraim. Joseph. He was sold into captivity by his brothers. So let me think. So I'm gonna give you a synopsis, right? So he was he was favorite of his father. You know what I mean? His father had 12 sons, and you know what I mean, his father Joseph, or his father Jacob, Salakia, his father Jacob favored Joseph. And a father can have a favorite son. You understand that, right? A father can absolutely have a favorite son, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you know what I mean, it could be for many reasons. Like what's like the Most High in the book of in early Genesis, the Most High favored Cain or Abel's offering over Cain's. And the reason why he favored Abel over Cain is because Abel was obedient. Abel received the instructions of what is a proper sacrifice to the Lord and what is not. And so did Cain. Both of them received the same instructions, but Abel was obedient, Cain was not. Abel was loyal, Cain was not. You know what I mean? So that's a reason why a father would favor one son over another. You know what I mean? And that's the case here. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? Jacob favored Joseph and he made him a coat, you know what I mean? He'll spend time with him, he would this, then the third. And the other brothers was jealous. So they, you know what I mean, took his coat, tore it up, you know what I mean, threw him in a ditch and said that an animal had, you know what I mean, got to him and, you know what I mean, mauled him. And they had dipped his coat in animal's blood to make it seem like he, you know what I mean, he got mauled to death. All right. And then he was sold to, I can't remember which nation. He was sold from one nation. He was sold from his brothers to another nation, and then another nation sold him to Egypt. Right. So that's how he ended up in Egypt. So this is the land of his affliction and of his captivity. But despite all of that, he became fruitful. He became second in command. He went from you know what I mean, a slave, and then he got in prison. He got sold, he got put in jail because of a false accusation. Hey, you need a Red Bull or something? It's a case of Red Bull in the refrigerator if you want to get it. And I feel you. I'm about to hit this monster as well. And Most High Christ, the water for the sacrifice as well. I know it's, you know what I mean, I know the Christian church make it seem like you know what I mean, serving the Lord is supposed to be this, you know what I mean, you're supposed to come in and you're supposed to become rich and famous and glorious and all of that joint. You absolutely do in the ISUPK, but you also have to make a lot of sacrifices. You know what I mean? So the water for your sacrifice. I mean, I'm gonna sacrifice with you. You know what I mean, you staying for Sabbath service, right? All right, so we all gonna be in here. Tabitha will be here shortly. I mean, we all gonna be in here sacrificing. You know what I mean? Trying to stay up. I'm about to down this monster, so I got some some energy in me. But yeah, so Ephraim or Jacob or Slack Joseph was in the land of his captivity, yet the Most High made him fruitful. he was sold into captivity, and then he was imprisoned because one of Pharaoh's wives was trying to get at Joseph. And Joseph was like, bro, no, like he was like, no, you somebody's wife. Like, I'm not, we don't get down like that. And because, you know what I mean, a lot of times, like that's, you see that now, you know what I mean? You see that in modern society, you know what I mean? Assist, or not even the sisters, our oppressor, you know what I mean? They'll get rejected and then they'll go and run to, their own people, their own nation, and try to accuse us of, you know what I mean, trying to force ourselves on them. You know what I mean? Hence, Black Wall Street being burned down, Rosewood being blown or burned down, Seneca Village being destroyed, St. Louis, you know what I mean? All these cities, these black cities all across America being destroyed off of the lies of a white woman. You know what I mean? So this ain't no different. I mean, where this so-called this Egyptian, which is, you know, the name of the Egyptian, since we talking about the nations, Matazarium. So this Egyptian, right? She was trying to push herself on Joseph. Joseph wasn't having it, so she accused him of trying to force himself on her, and he ended up not. He was already a slave, and he went from being a slave to being a prisoner. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he ended up getting locked up twice. Or I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I would have to read the story. But point is, he ended up getting arrested, and then through all of that, he ended up being second command in Egypt, and not only being able to save Egyptians from famine, from dying during the 7-year famine, but he was able to save his family as well. You know what I mean? So he named his son Ephraim, for God hath caused me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. So just to recap, you know what Ephraim means now?
Kind of want to be fruitful.
God. I am fruitful. God. And then where believe what's his name? Manasseh is right above it. What is this? 52. Let's see what 51 says. You go to 51. 41 and 51.
The book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 51. And Joseph said, this is like it, and Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God said, he have made me forget all my toil, and all my father's house.
All right. Let me see. All right. So off the top of my head, I can't remember this one, but I can find it. All right. And for names and things like that, like we was talking about last week, was talking about the different reasons why you use different resources, like all those books. Like I believe there's a Hebrew dictionary, right there. I think it's that pink and white book. There's also, no, not that one. That's a Bible dictionary. But I believe on that same shelf you got the Red Bull on. There's that pink. It's like a that white book with the pink strip on it. Or what is that? Yeah. There's that one. I believe that one right there is a And you ain't gotta. We're not gonna use that right now, but I just want to point them out that we have them. I believe there's another one right there, and in that book right there, where it's that one. I believe that might be a. What is that? What does it say? Oh, it's a concordance. Okay. Okay, so it could be in there as well. And then that big book down there at the bottom next to those two biblical Hebrew books, those black and white books down there, that's the that's the complete concordance. And in the back of it there's another Hebrew to English dictionary. You could use that, but that's just for looking up words, just looking up root words. So in this case, I think this resource that would be most beneficial is to go to Bible Hub and to see, because Bible Hub is to see how a word is used in real time, in conversation or in storytelling. I mean, in the scriptures. You know what I mean? Like it says in Jeremiah 16 or 6 and 16, you ask for the old past. You want to find out how we said things back in the day, how we use words back in the day, how we form sentences back in the day. You know what I mean? Back in biblical times, you go to Bible Hub and see it live. All right, so we're going to go to Genesis chapter 41. 41 and 51. But while we getting it, based on read Genesis 41, 51 again real quick.
Kind of want to come the book of Genesis, chapter 41, verse 51. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God said he have made me for all my toil.
He made you what?
All my toil.
Read that again. For God hath for God said he.
God said he have made me for all Salakia. Forget all my toil.
He made you what?
Forget all my toil.
He made you forget all his toil.
Toil.
Right? Toil is like hardship. You know what I mean? It's like, I believe, let me make sure. You look up, I'll look it up real quick. Toil. The definition of toil is to work extremely hard or incessantly, exhausting physical labor, right? So again, this pertains to what I just broke down a second ago. Joseph was sold into captivity. And then from him he was sold to one nation to go into captivity, and then he was sold to another nation to go into captivity. And then while he was in that nation, he was made a prisoner because of the lies of heathen, right? So, you know what I mean? You a prisoner and a slave in a strange nation. I mean, that's gonna be some tough. You know what I mean? We work hard. Think about it right now. Like as a free black Hispanic and Native American right now, you work pretty hard. You know what I mean? You got to go to your slavery, work 40 hours, 80 hours. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to work 2 and 3 jobs, and then sometimes, you know what I mean? I know that commute. You know what I mean? From Killeen to Georgetown is about 35, 40 minutes, depending on how deep you're going in. So you got to commute 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back, and then you got to slave all day, and then you got to come back and be a father, be a husband, you know what I mean, be a priest, be a officer, you know what I mean, you got to come and do your duties for the school and all that. It's exhausting as a free man. Now imagine if you in America, in the land of your captivity, and you're in jail. You know what I mean? Like you're going to run into some trouble. You know what I mean? It's going to be some rigorous labor in there for you. I mean, I know brothers understand that. But again, because now he went from that condition and now he's second in command, making decisions for the nation of this strange nation that had him in captivity and had him in prison. He said, and Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God said, he hath made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. You know what I mean? So he made him forget his toil and his hardship. You know what I mean? So I believe Nasha means to forget. So ma Nasha means from forget. It's a word built from forget. Right? Or Nasha causing to forget. All right. Now let's go back to Genesis. What was it? 29 and 32. Genesis 29, 32. You go ahead and read it when you got it.
The book of Genesis, chapter 29, in verse 30 and 32. And Leah conceived and bare a son.
Right.
And she called his name Reuben.
Right.
For she said, surely the Lord hath looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me.
All right. So Reuben. Reuben in the Hebrew is Ra'ah Waban. Ra'ah Waban. Right? Ra'ah means see, like look or behold. Wa is like a connective word or phrase. It means and or you're joining one thing to another. Then ban means son. Ra'ah Waban. Look or behold a son. Right? Because Jake or Leah and Rachel were fighting over the attention and affection of Jacob. And they thought, you know what I mean, like a lot of sisters do, you know what I mean, they think having a baby will make that man love you more. And you know what I mean, it sometimes it works, sometimes it don't work out quite like you thought it would, you know what I mean, for our sisters. You know what I mean, but that's just a lot. That like that being on the mind of our sisters of wanting to give a man children to make him be joined to you. That's not something new. That's not a new concept. That's ancient. That's old as Rachel and Leah. You know what I mean? So or it's actually older than that. It's older as Sarah and what's her name? Sarah and Hagar. You know what I mean? Sarah was barren. You know what I mean? And that she couldn't give Abraham a child, a son. So she was like, "All right, go into Hagar, my handmaid, and you'll have children through her." But then Hagar, who was the handmaid, she had a son, and then uh thought because she was the mother of Abraham's first child, that now she was no longer Sarah's servant, but that they was equals. You know what I mean? So she had the same mind state then, you know what I mean, even though she was a heathen, but uh and she had the same mindset, but that mind state is ancient. But that's what you see right here with Rachel and Leah. You know what I mean? So she wanted to join us. She wanted to get the love and affection of her husband, so she wanted to give him a son. So Reuben, behold a son. For she said, surely the Lord had looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. All right, go ahead. Next verse.
Con. Verse 33. And she conceived again and bare a son and said, because the Lord have heard.
Because the Lord is what?
Hath heard.
Because the Lord is what?
Hath heard.
All right, that's going to be very important. Go ahead.
That I was hated. He have therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Simeon.
So because the Lord hath heard that I was hated, he hath therefore given me this son also. And she called his name Shammai-wan. So what do you think Shammai-wan means? Based on that part that I told you to emphasize.
To hear?
Khan, that's exactly what it means. I mean, Shammai means hear. Wan is how you turn a verb into a noun, right? So if you want to name somebody hear or hearing, you'll put a wan at the end. So it kills the confusion. Like if I say Shammai, Shammai, you think I'm telling you to listen or to hear or to stop talking. When I'm calling a brother and his name is Shammai, but if you add the wan at the end, it kills that confusion. If I say Shammai Wan, now you know I'm talking to a brother named Shammai Wan, rather than you thinking I'm saying Shammai and giving a command. All right, so that's the whole purpose of that. So Shammai Wan means to hear, right? The Lord have heard, right? That's the whole point. All right, next verse. What you looking for? I don't want to distract you. If you, oh no, you most on Christ.
Verse 34. And she conceived again and bare a son and said, now this time will my husband be joined unto me, because I have borne him three sons.
Like a running back.
Kind of one come. And she conceived again and bare a son and said,
and
now
this is the part, Salakia, to interrupt you, but this is the part you want to, like, when you read in names, this is the part you want to key in what the sister says or what the brother says regarding the child, or maybe it'll be an angel. It'll be like sometimes the angel, like with Christ, I believe Mary and Joseph was told to name him something. He told him to name him Yahweh because he will deliver his people from he will save his people. You know what I mean? So when you hear the explanation, that's where the definition of the name is right there. That's what you want to hone in on. So when it says, and she conceived again and bare a son and said, this is the part that's going to explain it. All right? Go ahead. Read from now.
Now this time, Salaki. Now this time will my husband be joined unto me.
Now my husband will be what?
Now this time will my husband be joined unto me.
My husband be what?
Be joined unto me.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Because I have borne him 3 sons.
Right.
Therefore,
so when you see that therefore, that means for this reason. Go ahead.
Was his name called Levi.
So what you think Levi means?
Join to join.
Join unto me.
Join us. Come.
That's it's right there in the scripture. And that's why I was saying when you hear the explanation of the name, or you hear the explanation, the explanation is literally right there. And then so you asked for the pronunciation, right? So Levi is the English, Lawya is the Hebrew, Lawya, which means join to me. Lawa means to join. Ya is a possessive, like you see on the board, that means me or mine. So Lawa Ya, join to me. All right. Go ahead, read the next one.
Verse 35. And she conceived again and bare a son. And she said, now I will praise the Lord.
Mm-hmm. Now I will what?
Praise the Lord.
All right.
Therefore she called his name Judah.
Uh-huh.
And left bearing.
All right. So Judah, you know how to pronounce Judah, right? All right. Go ahead, pronounce it for me.
Yahweh.
Right. What you think Yahweh means?
Praise the Lord.
Or Yahweh is praised. But same thing, right? And it's this one's a little. So a lot of times when you see like names, and you'll see more examples like this as we move forward. But when you see names, like sometimes a name is like a bunch of like a couple words kind of fused together. Like how can I explain this? It's much how like we talk. Like you might hear me say constantly, you know what I mean, you know what I mean, you know what I mean. I be trying to stop saying it's a lot here. But you know what I mean, it's much like that. Instead of saying, do you know what I mean? We say, you know what I mean, we put it all together. Like that's how it is in Hebrew. Like sometimes when you especially with names, you just fuse it together. And this is one of those examples. Like Yah ha wa duh. All right. So Yahweh duh. What stands out in that name real quick? See if you just based on what you hear. Yahweh duh. What stands out?
The Yahweh. Yahweh.
Yahweh, which is the Most High, right?
So
So Yahweh, and then that leaves duh, right? Right. Now this is where it gets just a little bit tricky, right? It's the word Yahweh and the water together. So you know what the water means, right? What it means?
Thank you.
Right. Or because I'm not sure. Anytime I've seen the water in the scriptures in like Sabbath service just reading Bible Hub, anytime I've seen it, it's been to say praise, right? So when you say thank you to somebody, you're praising them for whatever reason. Now, because we so vain in America, because we've become so vain as a people, we've turned thank you into, you know what I mean, just something that, you know what I mean, we've turned thank you into something that every man is owed. Like if you hand me that book right there, now I gotta praise you for handing me that book. Like, hey, you mind handing me that piece of paper right there? And you hand me that piece of paper, I gotta be like the water. I gotta praise you because we so damn vain. But when you read in the scriptures, a lot of times when you see the word the water, it's pertaining to the Most High. It's saying praise the Lord. We're praising the Most High because you know what I mean something He's done, or you know what I mean something he's ailment he's relieved us from, or something of that nature. We're praising the Most High for something He's done. Like typically praise was uh what's the word? It was reserved for the Most High. All right. But the water just means praise. Like the literal definition means praise. All right. So Yahweh, it's like saying Yahweh the water. But oh, go ahead. Okay, that's good. All right. And let me see if I can find. So then when you go to verse 30, it talks about how both of them had left childbearing for Jacob. You know, I believe what's the name? Leah had went and had, four children back to back for Jacob. And then Rachel was barren. So, you know what I mean? She had went to Jacob and be like and was trying to entreat to give him children. She was barren, so she gave her handmaid to Jacob to wife. So like, all right, well, if I can't have children, you can have children with her, and I'll have children through her. Stand the third, right? Uh, all right. Verse 6.
Kanawakan, the book of Genesis, chapter 30, verse 6.
Let's start at verse 5.
Kanawakan, verse 5. And Bela, Bilhah,
Right.
conceived and bare Jacob a son.
And Bilhah conceived and bare Jacob a son. All right. Now watch what Rachel said. Go ahead.
And Rachel said, verse 6, and Rachel said, God have judged me, and have also heard my voice, and have given me a son.
And given who a son?
Given me a son.
Now remember, Bilhah had this son, but Rachel like, oh, the Lord heard me and gave me a son. All right. Go ahead.
Therefore called she his name Dan.
Dan. So Dan, it's not one of the 12 tribes. You can find that in Revelations. He's not a tribe, but it's still one of the 12 or one of the sons of Jacob. All right. But Dan, you know what I mean, just for the sake of the breakdown, Dan in the Hebrew is pronounced Dan, right? It's where we get the word Adon or Adawan, right? Like Khan, Adawan, Khan. That's where that word comes from the word Don. Don means judge. So Don means judge. Adon means Lord or I judge. I being a preposition, that means I or I am. Don meaning judge. So Adon means I judge or Lord. You know what I mean? Somebody who's a lord over you, they judge matters. They judge situations. You go to your landlord, and you miss, you know what I mean, your payment on rent. They are the judge of whether they're going to evict you or they going, you know what I mean, they going to give you some grace, right? They judge on whether they going to evict you, if depending on the state of how you keep up with that house, you know what I mean, or that home or apartment, whatever the case is. And then out of one is just the present tense, like you're talking about what your Lord is doing. So that's why we say Khan, not a one Khan, because it follows that response follows orders, or when your Lord gives you orders. All right. So Don means judge. All right. Which is why when you read the book of Judges, all right, you read the book of Judges, there's a lot of Danites that was judges over Israel. Like what's his name? Salakia. Why can't I? The brother with the 4 locks. You know what I'm talking about? Samson. He was a Danite. Yeah, Danite. He was from the tribe of Dan. Go ahead.
So like, what would they be considered?
You said what would they be considered now?
Yeah.
They would be part of. They would be a large family inside of the tribe of Manasseh. Because to be considered a tribe, there's certain criteria you got to meet, right? So you have to, first of all, you have to reproduce, you have to populate, you have to have sons, right? And then also you have to you have to have land. You know what I mean, so those are the criteria to be a tribe, right? And they didn't meet the criteria, right? Go ahead.
All right, so that make me kind of think about the tribe of Levi. So if I'm not mistaken, they didn't have their own land. They kind of like set up in other land in session, like such as like I forgot what a brother was bringing out in the class.
They basically they had like provinces inside each tribe because they were the priesthood. They were the priesthood, so they lived within the land of land of Manasseh, the land of Ephraim, the land of Gad, the land of Reuben, the land of Judah. They lived inside these lands because they were the priests. All right, go ahead.
So the criteria would be, I know you said the land, and like if they didn't have their own land, they would have to like pretty much have enough kids and stuff to be considered a tribe, like to pollute.
To populate the earth. Yeah. But so Dan just open and shut. And when it talks about I want to get off the topic because we got a couple tribes to go over as well. But when you go into Genesis, where it talks about the 12 gates, you know what I mean? When it talks about the 12 gates, it has one for each of the 12 tribe chart we got. It has a gate for each one of those tribes. You know what I mean? So the tribe of Issachar, the 12,000 of the tribe of Issachar, 12,000 of the tribe of Gad, 12,000 tribe of Reuben, Judah, Ephraim, Benjamin, Levi. And the reason why Levi is a tribe, even though they didn't have land, it was never intended for one nation of the 12 tribes of Judah or 12 tribes of Israel to have the priesthood alone. Like we were under the order of Melchizedek. We were supposed to be a nation. We all were supposed to be a nation of kings and priests. And it was just a vow you took no matter what nation you came from. But there was a time in I can't remember whether I think it was in Exodus or Leviticus, which we about to start on during Sabbath service. Salakia. But Salakia, I just lost my train of thought. But there was a time where Moses he had asked like, okay, who's going to step up? Basically, who's going to step up and take on the priesthood? And the children of Levi stepped up. So that's how they end up with that responsibility. But it was never supposed to be just one nation who was supposed to be priests, right? Where are we at? So, all right, let's read verse 7. So, go ahead. I'll let you read it.
Kind of one come, verse 7. And Bilhah, Rachel's maid, conceived again, and bare Jacob a second son.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And Rachel said, with great wrestlings have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed.
Right. So she's Bilhah is having these children, but you know what I mean, Rachel saying I've prevailed. With great wrestlings, right? I have wrestled. All right. I have wrestled. That's important. All right. With great wrestlings, I have wrestled with my sister because she thinks she's in competition with her sister. I mean, that's how these sisters. I mean, that's the spirit of our sisters. You know what I mean? If you you know what I mean? That's why a lot of times like sisters hate the concept of that a man can have more than one wife because I mean they're going to be in competition with one another. Right? And that's what you're seeing right here. So Leah and Rachel or Rachel is in competition with Leah, and she said, "With great wrestling have I wrestled with my sister, and I have prevailed." Go ahead.
And she called his name Neph- Nepht-
Naphtali.
Naphtali.
Now remember, I believe most people pronounce it Naphtali with that fa sound. Remember what I said about that earlier? So when you hear that fa sound, it's not fa. What is it? Same thing in. Oh, go ahead. And Ephraim.
Ah, ah,
Right there.
pa,
Con,
come,
con,
Salakia,
pa,
pa.
con. Right, and that's how you write. Like the more you practice with the Hebrew, the more you'll be able to like recognize. Like it. The more you'll be able to recognize certain things, right? Like certain sounds. Like whenever you hear fa, you can almost guarantee that there's a pa there. Whenever you hear like va or ba, like it's usually a wa instead of va or ba, right? Uh, like let me think of. Let me think. Like, like I believe in the scriptures. Like when you hear a word like when you see a word that ends with a z or like a t and a z, it's tazah. You, but it takes a little bit of time to like be able to recognize these things. But so instead of Naphtali, it's Naptalia, Napatalia. So Napatal means wrestle, right? Which leaves the possessive ya at the end. And this is another one too. Whenever you see a I at the end of a word, or like a nation or a name or just like at the end of a word, uh whenever you see that I at the end, it usually indicates ya or it. When you see I or it, it's like Israeli, that comes from Israelite. Uh or Yasharala ya. That's how it'll be. That's how it'll be depicted. And that's how you see it here. So Napatal, yeah, right. So wrestle me, or I have wrestled, right. That's what this. That's what this. Napatalia means. And I'm pronouncing it dramatic just so you can make the connection. But like when you pronounce it, it's Naptalia. But Napatal means to wrestle, right. So I have wrestled Naptalia, right. All right. Go to verse 10, 11, Salakia.
Kana Khan. Book of Genesis, chapter 30, verse 11. And Leah said, a troop cometh,
What?
a troop cometh.
You know what troop means? Trooper? You see what I did there? Let's try to help you out. I threw you the alley oop and I gave you the assist and you smoked it. Now I'm messing with you. Or you could just look it up if you want to. You want to get it exact and on point. Troop. Or you could. I think you can look it up on your phone. It should, because it's a word that we use today. Oh, you ain't damn, you ain't had your phone this whole time? Ooh. I got it right here. I'll go ahead and read it. So troop means a group of soldiers, especially in the military context. Right? So it's a soldier, right? Right? Or an army. Like a trooper is or a trooper is one member of an army. Like when you become a trooper and you get that oil poured on your head, you don't have to become a trooper. You could come in here and you could just be a student. I mean, you could be student, uh, yeah, you could be student, young man, such and such out the world. The young man Zabumafu and the world. You know what I mean? You come in, you know what I mean, you come in and you learn and you this, that, and the third, and then you go home and you ain't got no obligation to come to camp or come to class. It's just when you come in. All right. But when you become a trooper, you take an oath to be a part of the Lord's military that's being built here on earth to establish the kingdom of heaven. All right, you understand that?
Con on the one con.
All right, so that's what that means. Troop. It means a soldier. Now, a trooper is a soldier. A troop is the army itself. All right. So she said a troop cometh. So what you think? And she called his name Gad. What do you think Gad means?
Army.
Troop. Troop.
Salaki, troop.
Or army. It means the same thing. You was right. Salaki. And also, if you look up this word, it also means like if you look in like Bible Hub, it also means fortunate, fortune. And if you read it in Bible Hub, it says let me see, because this was interesting. I gotta ask about this. Gotta ask about this specifically. Genesis 30. Oh, we about to run out of time. I'm trying to save some room for I'm gonna have to set up for Officer Tapazar in a second. All right. Uh where it says a troop cometh. So in the Hebrew it says Watha Amar Ba'ah, which and said Leah, Bagad Ba'ah God. So I believe in the translation it says with fortune comes fortune. In fortune, so by God, in fortune. Ba'ah means come, and then God. And then the English, like when you read it in let me go to Bible Hub real quick. Genesis 30, and it's already in Genesis 30. On time Christ. 30 and 11. Just want to put that. I don't know if you can see this on the screen. Where it says by Amor and said La'ah, right? Leah, by God, right? By God, Ba'ah, God, right? Now under God, it says how fortunate, right? So it says, so it means a troop. It means troop, right? But right here, if you look at the definition, it says fortune or good fortune, right? And it's heavy because, like, I believe Tabazar was going into this, or no, not Tabazar. General Muhammad was going into this yesterday. Like other nations, they win wars based on their prowess, their skill, and expertise in war, their training, their weapons, their numbers. That's how other nations win wars. But the nation of Israel, we win wars based on if the Lord is with us. Right? So, you know what I mean? That could be where this comes from. You know what I mean? In relation to war. Right? So if you're fortunate enough to have the Lord with you, you know what I mean, then you'll win many wars. Like it says in what's it called? Judah 5 and 20. You know what I mean? We were smote in many battles when the Lord wasn't with us, when we were sinning against the Lord. But when the Lord was with us, no nation could come against us. All right. But I just wanted to point this out. So it says, by God, by our God. So God, if God means fortune, by God means in fortune, right? So in fortune, Ba'a means come, and then God means fortune. So in fortune comes fortune. But it also means true, like we just read right here. The KJV says true, right? Now I would just have to I'm just pointing that out. You know what I mean? I would have to ask you know what I mean, what the connection is. All right. But see if we can get a couple more. I don't want to push it. I don't want to push it. Let's go ahead and read just a little bit more. We'll go until about 7:40. All right. Or actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and call it right now. All right, we gonna go ahead and end it right there. You know what I mean? Make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share it with your loved ones and all of that. Uh, and hit that QR code in that top corner, man. Morning, noon, and night, there'll be a brother in that chat to answer all your questions and solve all your problems. No matter what your question is or whatever problem you got, hit that QR code and we can get you together. I mean, with that, I'm say I imagine, which means to stand. Give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Individual Ramadan Shabbat. Imagine. All right. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabrakta. Yadimata Sar. Return the face sister. Give courtesy to the sisters. Individual Ramadan Shabbat. Imagine. All right. Yahweh Shemar Latam Ba Shem Yahweh Shah. Yadimata.